Great Falls will soon transform once again into the Western art capital of the world. We're breaking down all you need to know about Western Art Week 2023, and you'll get a chance to hear Rebecca attempt to yodel. That's coming up on this episode of We're No Damn Experts.
Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You want to get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you want to go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
I'm Shannon Newth.
And we're No Damn Experts. I have to say that I looked at my hair before we came onto the podcast. Not that anybody sees it.
An important factor for this.
But I started thinking, I do my hair the same every day, and it comes out differently. And I just wonder, like, why is it your hair just decides
to do something different every day?
Like, I can do the exact same things all the time. And it's like, oh, today I want to do this.
And does one side of your head respond differently than the other side of the head?
Yes.
Yeah. I get that, you're not, people in general aren't perfectly symmetrical, but why is the hair want to curl differently on one side than the other?
Sometimes I feel like the entire left side of my head isn't connected to
wonky.
the right side of my head. Like, they're just like,
just piece
like
these two together.
Do completely different things.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's not why we came into the studio to talk.
No, but it's been a while especially since it's just been the two of us. So
I know.
Yeah. So here we are.
And you wanted to talk today about...
Well, you've been putting in so much work for this. We figured we'll get some more traction out of all your work while it's still fresh in your brain. Because Western Art Week is just 3 weeks away.
It is fast approaching.
Right? 3 weeks?
Yeah,
because
that's my
this
math.
will come out Friday.
That's another thing. Like, I don't know how to count actual weeks.
Yeah.
Like, is it 3 weeks and then the week of is not counted? Or is it, do you count that week?
Yeah. It
doesn't matter.
But it's mid-March is when this is happening. So
March 15th through the 19th of this year.
You passed your first test of
There
details. Yes.
And it's always about the same time of year.
Yes.
So all you really have to do is look at your calendar and find March 19th and then figure out from there, what is the weekend that is near that?
Right. Because March 19th will always be involved in some capacity.
It's the
or
cornerstone.
Close to it.
Yeah, it's the cornerstone as to why this week even exists.
Why is that, Rebecca?
Well, let me tell you, Shannon. So 50 plus years ago, this event started. And if you really want to know the history, we brought the founder on.
She's a legend.
Yeah. She will have a statue erected in our community somewhere of her choosing.
100%.
Norma Ashby Smith started this event as a fundraiser to develop and grow the C.M. Russell Museum. And she tells the amazing story of how she went to her first auction and how much fun it was and the things she bought. It's a great story.
Yeah.
She tells us a bunch of other stories because she is also a news anchor from way back.
Yes.
And she's lived a life plus.
Yes.
So this started 50 plus years ago.
But Norma, where you're going with that is she was on a podcast episode, right?
Yeah, she did an entire episode. I'd love to remember what episode it was. I don't.
This will be 115 episodes that you've done. So
Maudie was always good about figuring out what episode to reference. That's the skill set I didn't develop.
Yeah, I don't store that in my brain. I know what our 100th episode was.
Yeah. I can remember key ones. 50 was the dam.
Power, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But this was about Western Art Week. Norma Ashby Smith. She tells us all about the development. So listen to that episode. This is the truncated version.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't even seem like it's truncated, but
You're like, haven't even gotten to anything but the
it is.
date yet.
well,
this
you
is
brought me on a
more-
podcast and asked me to talk, and that's really my strong suit.
So Norma's episode will give you all of the background,
The history.
side stories. This is more, we're talking about what you can expect when you come here.
So 50 plus years ago when she started, she decided to make it an auction, benefit the C.M. Russell Museum. And what better time of year to do that than Charlie's birthday,
Yeah,
which
perfect.
is March 19th. So that's why we always find March 19th on the calendar. And then we figure out from there,
Yeah.
where's the Western Art Week fit into that date. And the fun part is March 17th is always close to March 19th.
Which
Just based on the number system, which is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. You get all kinds of partying happening.
So
here.
it's really a strange combination. But kind of the cornerstone to that, which is almost funny, is we've got this Western art, famed cowboy artist, and leprechauns and St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Mash it together. And who do you have? Robert Vaughn.
Aha. Yep.
Which
Hello, Celtic Cowboy.
there is a show at Hotel Arvon. So there's a lot of opportunity to have some serious fun in Great Falls, March 15th through the 19th.
Speaking of
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day, so last year at this time, I was still in my TV news job. And I remember for the morning show, I went out and I did live shots during the morning show with Chuck Fulcher
Okay.
on St. Patrick's Day. And I remember it being brought up during the live shot between Chuck and I that it was St. Patrick's Day and I wasn't wearing green and I was going to get pinched and all of that. So that just came back to my brain that I was
Yeah.
with
you
Chuck
did
on
this
St.
stuff.
Patrick's Day and not wearing green. So
The things you do
There you
on
go.
St. Patrick's Day.
yeah, side note. Yeah.
So fast forward 50 plus years, and this event is still going on. This auction to benefit the Russell Museum, but it is expanded into so much more
yes.
than that. Now, people, I can tell you time and time again, they still refer to everything that happens during Western Art Week as Russell Auction
Yep.
or Russell Auction Week. People, no discredit to the Russell Auction,
No.
but it is so much more than that.
But that's that you don't get the full picture of what happens
No.
if you think of it in that term.
Because it is so not true
Yeah.
that there's just this
Just
one
that.
thing happening.
Yeah.
And I don't know in their minds when they say Russell Auction Week if they're picturing the 17 shows and 800
Yeah.
artists scattered throughout our community,
Right.
or if they're really
Or-
just picturing the Russell Auction.
The soul high rolling auction. Yeah.
But let's expand your mind. I mean, you're doing nothing but sitting there
Just
listening to me
us.
anyway.
Yeah. Poor souls.
And this is not an educational podcast, which we have said time and time again.
Yeah.
But we're going to share some
Keep
nuggets
you awake
with you
while you're
today.
driving. Hopefully.
We start working on Western Art Week in August, September timeframe. And the reason for that is, and I just am going to say it because even though you're listening to a podcast produced by Great Falls, Montana Tourism, chances are you don't really understand what tourism is.
Right.
And it's not
And-
it's not really that important that you do.
No. And it's most people don't.
But there's a lot of consumer behavior that goes into that. So this is
Yeah.
people you
This
know.
is an educational podcast.
I'm a nerd. So you're going to have to endure this for just
Yeah.
a little bit. When you, listener, decide you want to take a vacation, there's a lot that's went up to that decision that you don't
Yeah.
even know has happened psychologically
Yeah.
in your
Subliminal
brain.
messaging that you've encountered.
You've probably already identified that there's a problem, like I don't want to work anymore, or I've not experienced this thing, or wouldn't it be fun to have some alone time with me and my partner? Whatever
Yeah.
it might be, you've identified some kind of problem in your consumer behavior process. You've done some research and you've determined, I'm going to go on vacation and I'm going to go here. In order for you to determine where here is, you've had to have seen 7 to 9 messages at minimum from wherever here is.
Yeah.
So in order for us to make your here Western Art Week in Great Falls, Montana, we need to start subliminally shoving messages to you no later than January 1.
Yeah.
So that you can have enough impressions to go, oh, honey, I'm just dissatisfied with these ugly walls at our home. We need new art.
Art.
Let's go to Western Art Week. I don't know what your actual problem is going to be that you're solving.
I mean, that could be one. Yeah.
My problem is I haven't had a beer and walked around the Heritage Inn for a while.
Well, this will solve that as well.
That's
Perfect.
a problem that I solve. And so when you're getting ready to develop Western Art Week, all the glory goes to the people who organize the shows.
Yes.
It is not us sitting at the tourism base camp putting things together on westernartweek.com.
Umbrella over it so you have a place to decipher all the shows and information.
One might say a base camp for information about Western Art Week. And we don't come up with anything. We just ask, hey, what are you guys doing? And we ask that of all 17 show organizers, which are usually artists.
Correct. Yes.
Now, you folks that have been artists or are artists or have dealt with artists kind of know that, left brain, right brain thing.
Right.
Where we started with my hair. Artists don't necessarily start planning in September for an event that's going to happen in March. But in order for us to get people excited to come to Great Falls and experience Western Art Week, we got to
start then. Yeah.
So we start asking, what are you doing? What are your events? What are your show dates? Where, any changes to your location? And then here's another behind the curtain story about what we portray to you. I think everyone kind of knows we can't show you pictures of the 2023 event because it hasn't happened yet. So we use images from 2022 to show you what it could be like. Now, the art may change, the exhibitors may change, but in general, auctions will still look like auctions. Quick finishes will still look like quick finishes.
People will get the concept.
That's all we're trying for. So we want to demonstrate to you what the experience is going to be, because there is absolutely nothing that you can put into words or even video or pictures that really explores for the viewer what Western Art Week is besides coming to experience it. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I think I don't want to say confusing, but it's just, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to know and understand about Western Art Week because there are so many artists involved. There are so many locations. It kind of takes over Great Falls. So Western Art Week is an all-encompassing term for a lot that happens in those 3-4 days.
Well, 5. Yeah. Starts on Wednesday, ends on Sunday.
I can count.
Now, there's events happening at the Russell Museum, the Newberry, the Heritage Inn, the Holiday Inn, Hotel Arvon,
Civic Center?
The Civic Center, Montana Expo Park, the Hampton Inn, the Celtic Cowboy, the First People's Buffalo Jump, the Meadowlark Country Club.
Oh, yep.
The Elks Lodge.
Oh, that's right.
Number 214. I think there is only one Elks Lodge in Great Falls.
Yeah, I only know of one off the top of my head at least. Yeah.
So that is number 214.
Short walk from the Newberry.
But it is Charlie Russell's lodge. That's when he was an elk, was part of that lodge.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So there's events happening there. There are events happening at the Paris Gibson Square Museum of Art. There are, I think I've gotten them all.
Yeah, you've done a good job.
So there's 13 different venues where stuff is happening. Stuff starts happening on Wednesday, March 15th.
Yeah.
And technically ends happening March 20th. One of the really cool things about Western Art Week is because it's Charlie's birthday, the C.M. Russell Museum gives us this fantastic gift of free admission to the museum complex.
Yeah, during that time. Yeah.
So we have things happening at all of these locations. And at some of the locations, multiple things happening.
Right. And multiple different shows, because
Right.
these artists are grouped, if you will, into different, they belong or have their allegiance to a specific show
Right.
name. So for you, person coming to visit, that doesn't necessarily mean anything other than this show is at this location.
Right.
But places like the Expo Park, you can wander around and you're going to actually be going to multiple different shows.
Which I think is a great idea, because I can't imagine, like, this is one of my nightmares. Like, all of the show organizers say, hey, Great Falls, Montana Tourism, this is such an amazing thing. Why don't you all coordinate it?
Yeah. No.
No, thank you.
No.
800 plus artists.
Yeah. No.
Having to organize and lay out and where you're going to go and
That
where you're
is
going to be.
somebody else's full-time year-round job.
No.
Yeah.
I would cry. It's similar to when I go and visit Susan Shannon at Montana Expo Park during State Fair.
Oh, gosh.
And I go,
There's so much
nope.
happy. Yeah.
I would walk away.
I'm glad somebody else is doing that job. Yeah.
There's no way.
That's a lot. Yeah.
So you've got all of these different shows, and then each show recruits the artists, determines kind of what events they're going to have, what time. And then the crazy thing is they all coordinate with each other so that they aren't having events on top of each other,
Right.
which is helpful. But also after 50 some years, we all know, like, oh, we know this auction ends at this time, or this event starts at this time. So just be careful. Don't tread on us.
Right.
I would say 90% of everything is free.
Yeah, I would say so too. There's
free
a few
to attend.
Right. Not free
Like,
to
you're not
grab
going
a painting and
and
walk
just,
out.
oh, this
Yeah.
original is now mine.
This is free. It's free to walk. There are a few ticketed events and exclusive events, if you will, but the majority of them you can wander around however long you want, however many times you want.
Exactly. And you're going to need to take some time.
Yes, I think to truly appreciate it and get the full experience, because that includes talking with some of the artists. And that's something over the years that I've gone. Now, I get really excited for Western Art Week because it's just such a neat experience. And even me, like, I don't know anything about art. I know nothing. I know I sound like an idiot, but I've gotten somewhat over that because I enjoy talking with the artists. And I think for them, even though I sound like a bumbling idiot about it's interaction, it's somebody appreciating and wanting to know about their art, which I think is probably a good thing.
And I bet your money spends the same as an art aficionado that uses all the right words.
This is true.
And that's always my theory. And we've had artists on the podcast numerous times telling us it's okay if you sound stupid.
Yeah.
It's fine. You're learning, you're interested, and you're excited about art.
And I think it's a good brain expansion exercise, right? Like tap into the other side of your brain when you go and you're like, okay, I want to really look at the art, compare it to other things I've seen. How is there a similar, what is this person's style? What do they do? There's one, we have a painting at home, and I think I've shared this before. It's an artist, Alan Snell out of Helena, but he puts a little cross inside every one of his paintings. And so mine happens to be this gorgeous elephant head that he did, but a lot of his landscapes or his paintings are Montana landscapes, but it's like this game to try to find where this little cross is.
So that's so much fun.
So go visit his. I'll put a plug in for him just because I've spoken with him a number of times. I appreciate his work, and it's kind of a fun game to go in and try to find that. So look for those little things in people's artwork to expand your brain.
And they'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just like when you go to the Russell Museum, they tell you what stuff Charlie hid in the paintings.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, it just engages you beyond belief. Now, here's the other thing. You may be sitting at home going, Western Art Week. Western Art's not my thing.
Right.
You just talked about an elephant head.
I did. Yes. Yep.
I
saw
would
this
really,
at Western Art Week.
Really wouldn't classify that as Western.
Nope. Not so much.
Also, an artist we bought from last year, Nicole Guido. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. We walked by her booth, and it was art I had never seen. And I'm going to describe it probably not the way she would describe it. Probably.
That's okay. You appreciate probably. We'll say this is not the way she would.
This is not how she is ever going to describe her art. But it looks like bombed out World War II European cities.
Yeah,
and
that's
you
probably
don't
not
see that kind of grittiness or despair, I will say, in Western art. But she is completely inspired by the Western landscapes, lives in this area, and some of those images she paints are of Great Falls communities. So I loved, like, there was one with a tank rolling down the middle of the street, and there was a building that was barely standing with a fire being put out by firemen.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is cool stuff because it invokes emotion
For sure.
that I would have never expected during Western Art Week. Well, lo and behold, she's at the Out West show, and then she does the quick finish. My husband and I have rarely agreed upon art. Like, he will like a piece of art, I will like a piece of art, and very rarely is it the same piece of art.
Yeah.
Over the years, there's been a few select pieces of artwork we've both agreed upon, and every time that happens, we buy it.
This is a rare occurrence.
It doesn't usually happen. So he loved her work as well. It's stunning. She's doing the quick finish at Out West.
Yeah.
You might have been there.
I think
Might have noticed. And we started bidding on her piece that she was finishing. And of course, there are people there that know, like, oh, it has to be so many dollars per square inch, or this is what it should go for.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
I know how much money I have to spend on a piece of artwork,
Right.
and so
That's
we
what you're
bid
gonna
to
throw
that
out
amount.
there. Yep.
And we won the piece.
You did.
It was of the Helena Cathedral.
Okay. I do remember that one now. Yes.
So, again, not a piece that would say Western art.
Yeah.
But it is a stunning piece. And it is the Helena Cathedral,
Yeah.
which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But the type of work that you're going to see is not just horses and cowboys and elk and rugged landscapes. It's going to be of all kinds of things. And it's not just going to be oils.
Right.
Because we also bought another piece from the same artist.
Oh, wow. Last year?
In the paint around, which is not happening this year.
Okay.
But that had chalk art, it had ink, it had oils, it had pastels, it had watercolor. And it is a mishmash of 7 different artists' work on one piece.
Oh, cool.
It was the funnest experience.
Yeah.
I can understand the frustration. And then Nicole had the opportunity to just finish the piece.
Okay.
It was so much fun. It was a trolley.
And truly unique piece. Absolutely.
And then each artist signed
That's
the whole
cool.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
every artist signed it because they all were a part of it, which is neat. But we've
That's
got
really
the quick
cool.
finish and the quick draw this year
Yes.
at the Out West show, which is at the Heritage Inn. But the amount of...
I'll be there again in same capacity.
Yeah, you're going to be an MC.
Yes. Yeah, Jason and I be
Well,
back for that.
That'll be great.
Yeah. At least I think so. That's what he's told me.
Well, I can't wait to see
Sorry,
if you
Out
show
West
up
show.
there.
You said no. Yeah. I have it on my calendar. I'm obligated. Yeah.
Also, I apologize, Nicole Guido, if I'm completely screwing up your name.
But we have great respect for your work.
Yeah. And I feel bad because I do, but then shouldn't you remember their name?
Yeah. I was questioning myself when I was talking about the elephant, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Like, I know this
Okay.
artist, but yeah. Just speaking about the quick, I don't remember which night it was. There's a quick draw and a quick finish. One's Friday, one's Saturday. Essentially the same thing for the viewer.
Yeah. It really is.
Yes. But one of them, it's pretty cool when you go to these events. So they have an hour to start
Finish.
Start or continue and finish a piece of work. Now, we had a sculptor at
that's
the Quick
right.
Finish last year. So it's not just painters, but there was one, and I picture his face, and his name's escaping me at the moment, but it was neat, and he was really interactive, right? He was fun to go and talk with as the host of this event. He was painting, I don't know if you were there for that, upside down. So
Yes,
do you remember
Cody.
that? Cody.
Cody Kuhn.
Yes.
I'm probably butchering that as well.
Yeah, Cody. So he was painting upside down. So the whole time you're guessing what this, and it was just black and white, I think.
Yep.
And so and it ended up being, I think, like a profile of a cowboy, like
Yep.
side profile of a cowboy. But the whole time it was really fun for this hour. You're like, what
in
is
the world
that?
is this?
Yeah.
The other thing about Cody that I'll make a call out, it's almost like a comic book style
Yes.
art.
I love his stuff.
So it is Western themed.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Think
of
like Andy Warhol meets Charlie Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really neat stuff. So you've got that. You've got the celebration of Native Plains artists,
yes.
which are going to have their show again at Montana Expo Park. So then you've got additional types of art there. Beaded jewelry, moccasins, pipes.
Furniture.
Flutes, those type of things that are happening in some of those shows.
Yeah.
The Wild Bunch show, which is one of my favorites, only because, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Most of the artists are from Eastern Montana.
Ah, your people.
Yeah. And I usually end up getting a pair of earrings or a necklace from one of my favorite exhibitors, I think it's Laoshners.
Okay.
It's a husband and wife team that develop jewelry, agate jewelry. It's beautiful
yeah.
stuff. And it's Larry and Leanne Oshner. He's a former science teacher.
Oh, really? Was he your science teacher?
He never taught me, but he taught at the school I went
Okay.
to. So he,
Neat.
from Eastern Montana, has always loved kind of polishing agates.
Yeah.
He makes them into jewelry.
So he's
It's
got both
beautiful
sides of the
stuff.
brain going for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he loves basketball. So I spent a lot of time talking about basketball
Gotcha.
as well.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of that excitement. And folks, if you did not know, which I'm going to tell you right now, the eastern part of Montana looks completely different than the western part of Montana. And when you get Eastern Montana artists, you're getting completely different kind of artwork than you
Yes.
would from a Western Montana artist because they're painting what they see.
Yeah. Looks much different. And the nice thing about Great Falls is it's kind of where the east meets the west, and you can enjoy both of those landscapes when you come to visit.
You get it all. You get it all. So if you've never been, one of the big things about Western Art Week is you just walk around. Think of it like a trade show that has just a bunch of booths that you can experience. Or some of the shows are set up in actual hotel rooms. So you wander and the room doors are open.
There's no beds in there.
Nope,
It's
it's
been
not
cleared out.
Yeah, it's not going to
It
be that
sounds
weird.
a little weird when
Right.
it's just like, oh, it's a.
But
yeah.
it's transformed into a gallery, and then you move from room to room and you look at the artwork. And so you're going to find both of those kind of styles in Western Art Week. The Heritage Inn, the Holiday Inn Convention Center all have that kind of room to room experience. The others are like in a convention space where there's booths set up so you can walk from booth to booth. And that's just one part. Then you have the auctions. The March in Montana has an auction. Out west has auction for the quick finish and the quick draw. And then the Russell auction isn't actually happening this March.
during March of this year.
Right. It is happening in August of this year. So it's not part of Western Art Week, but there is Charlie's art roundup, which will have an art in action auction at Metal Art Country Club,
It's a
as
mouthful.
well as a Charlie's roundup auction at the Newberry.
And you can go visit the museum.
Yes. They're also doing an educational symposium. They do an educational symposium, I think, almost every year that I've even been around and known this stuff. That could be a lie, but it's happening this year.
I mean, that's part of who they are, so I would think that that's true.
Yeah. And then back again this year, he's taken a little bit of a hiatus. Brian Gillette is bringing the Gun and Western show back, which has a lot of antique guns and antiques and jewelry and that kind of stuff. That is a show that you have to pay to get into.
Okay.
The auctions
Where
for
is that one?
At Montana Expo Park.
Okay.
In the exhibition hall.
Okay.
The Russell activities are ticketed, so if you want to do the art in action or the Charlie roundup,
those are planned for them. Get your tickets in advance. Thing
you do have to do that. Everything else, open and free to the public. So pretty minimal.
Yeah.
I told you 2 things that you needed
tickets for.
Yeah. 2 shows out of 17.
And it's not really confusing. I mean, with like the Newberry one, it's at a different location, different time, so you have to understand that you're going somewhere else where the ticket, it's not like you're going to walk to a random door and be like, oh, I can't go past here.
Right. Yeah. Really important to understand that. Then there's Native American dancing and drumming that's going to happen.
So neat.
At Montana Expo Park, there is one of my favorites, Pollo Loco is going to be playing. There is going to be brunch. Celtic brunch served. Now you may be thinking, maybe you haven't said it. Food? Why is food part of art week? People. Have you ever, my dinner last night was good, but it does not look pretty.
Right.
It
did not. About one you made at home?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, mine are, I get real proud if it like looks pretty.
Yeah, like if you can do a presentation. But there is such a great art to cooking amazing, wonderful food. And the Celtic Cowboy is joining in on that to show you how artful local food can be.
And Chef Gregory, who's the head chef there at Celtic Cowboy, he participated in Chef's Champagne and Art event with Paris Gibson Square a few weeks ago, which I got the pleasure to MC and sit in. I got like the best seat in the house. I got to sit in the judge's room. I didn't have to judge. I just got to sit there and sample the food and listen, which was the coolest job. But his presentation, the artistic presentation, and just how he describes what he's doing is just a whole art form in itself. Like specifically, he stands out to me from just sitting in that judge's room, the artistry of what he was doing. So that's 100% true about food when you go for Western Art Week.
So we're going to have food.
Yeah.
We're going to have Cowboy Church on Sunday morning. We're going to have more live music at the Celtic Cowboy, and I could name them all. Thorn Among Roses is going to be there. Almeda Bradshaw is going to be there. But let me tell you, Wiley and the Wild West are going to be at the Celtic Cowboy. Now, folks, you may not know, but Wiley and the Wild West, but probably just Wiley, is from Conrad area.
Oh, okay.
And if I remember correctly, this could be a lie.
Oh, no.
He is the Yahoo Yodel.
Oh.
And this one I do know for sure is the brother of Lieutenant Governor Juris.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How funny.
Yeah. So when Lieutenant Governor Juris and Governor Gianforte did their oath, Wiley performed at their inauguration thing.
Yeah.
Is it called an
inauguration? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Wiley performed there.
Wow. Hey.
And I'm 95% certain Wiley Gustafson is the Yahoo Yodel.
Oh. I don't know that, but it sounds fun.
Yahoo! You've probably heard it.
I mean, I know what yodeling is, but I don't. That's amazing. Definitely worth your time.
Yes. So he's going to be at the Celtic Cowboy. I told you auction at March in Montana. And then you've got welcoming receptions that happen for some of the shows. You've got activities that you can participate in. Like at Studio 706, they have Beat a Buddy, where you learn how to make a animal out of beads. And then a dot painting activity, so you can
Okay.
kind of engage in some
Yeah.
of those opportunities. You know, release a little bit of that brain to get creative
Yeah.
and have fun.
And if you need a reminder of the talent level, like for me, like, oh, that looks easy. No,
Right.
no.
Every time. And there's some pieces. This is the other thing. We talked about the variety of the art you're going to see.
Mm-hmm.
You're also going to find a variety of price points.
Yes. So you may be hearing Rebecca and I talk about how we've purchased paintings.
Like we're big spenders.
It's not because we're these big high rollers. Granted, they are worth every penny, but you can go. There are options for a lot of budget ranges to be able to take something home with you.
Not to speak for you, but you and I aren't buying original Russells to put in our house.
No, I'm not.
There are a few artists that I do aspire to own.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's some that I'm like, oh, I would love that, but that's just not in my range right now. Yeah.
But there are artists that I kind of build a collection with that I absolutely love. One, Diana Rosen out of Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
She paints with soil. And I've talked about this a number of times. And it's all different kinds of soil. This last year, I went and picked up another piece because I want to have a collection of 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my thing. I always want to have 3 things.
That design-wise makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, for certain areas of the house.
Yeah.
So I got my second piece from Diana Rosen, and you're thinking they're small pieces. They're 5x7s.
Uh-huh.
But this last year she had one with blue in it.
Oh.
And I said, "What the heck are you doing?" She's like,
Oh, it's soil. It's
blue soil. She's like, because of this technique she uses, she now has fans bringing her dirt to paint with, and one of them is blue.
Do you know where it's from?
Yeah, she told me.
Wow.
I got so
Like
many other things
fertilizer in
floating
it?
up
I
there.
don't
It's
curious of what.
so crazy.
Wow.
But
Does she ever use manure mixed in with the soil?
well, I'm sure it just organically
It kind of happens.
there.
It's organic matter. Yeah.
But it
Interesting.
is just beautiful
Yeah.
work. And so I've gotten my second piece. I need to get my third.
Okay.
But again, the scenes are very Western in nature.
Yeah.
So they're barns. I'm a big barn girl. So they're barns and elevators and some landscapes from this area because this is where she lives.
Grain elevators, not
Oh, yeah.
inside to take you up a couple floors
I always
elevators.
forget to
Yeah.
denote that because
Clarify that most people outside that's not what an elevator is to them.
the chances of you actually finding an elevator that holds people in our state is pretty low. So a lot more grain elevators. So I love her work, and I'll pick some of that up because it's in my price point. But there's another artist that I absolutely love. She does a lot of large format Eastern Montana landscapes or old buildings, abandoned homestead type stuff. Yeah, I love it. It's not in my price range yet.
Yeah.
I just keep putting it into, I have a savings account just
There you
for
go.
her.
Yeah, there you go. You just funnel it over and
Here's
hopefully
this money for that.
year
And
after year.
eventually I will be able to buy one of her pieces of
Yeah.
artwork. Because one of the things that we always want you to know is you may not be able to afford an original.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you may be able to get a print or a G clay or some type of limited edition offering that isn't the original.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other option is maybe you can't be without it. Maybe you want to make sure that you are the owner of that, but you can't afford to write the check right there. Ask them about options for them to hold that if you do a deposit or make payments. There's always a way to make art happen for you in your life.
During the August show of this last year, Randy Van Beek, I believe is his name. He's an artist who's
I've heard of his
Yes, beautiful pieces. I got so lucky. He had beautifully framed. They're small, smaller, but they were in his like $100 rack.
Oh.
And this is an artist who he's in the Russell auction.
Yeah,
like
his
this
stuff
is a
shows up
big
there.
time art. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hit the jackpot because I went in wanting to get a piece and I'd always loved him. I was like, okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's a beautifully framed original painting. Yeah. And so just look for those. Again,
The other
you
thing
can find
is
little gems.
you can.
Mm-hmm.
And any support you can give an artist is
Oh, yeah.
greatly appreciated.
Mhm.
So whether it be postcards or note cards, and I have been known to do this a number of times. Say buy like a note card or a postcard and frame it.
Yeah. Yep.
Easter Bunny gave me a Brenda Wolf
Oh.
note card one year.
Yeah.
It was of her penguin, and I bought a nice frame and put it in, and it sits
Yeah.
on my credenza.
And you love it.
I love it
Mm-hmm.
because it is a memory that I get to share with the Easter Bunny and my friend Brenda Wolf, who's
Yeah.
been on the podcast. So just really look at what you can do or what options exist for you to own some of those artists so that you can start building your collection.
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite artists that come to Western Art Week is Craig Edwards.
Okay.
He is at Montana Expo Park, and I wish I knew what show he was a part of
Yeah.
because I really don't know.
One of the Expo Park ones. Mm-hmm.
But he is at Four Seasons Arena, and he's a photographer.
Ooh.
And so his artwork is really of the Big Sandy area, which is where
Oh.
he's from. So
Yeah.
you find a lot of farming influences or landscapes with weird weather patterns happening.
Ooh. Yep. Get that in
But-
the northern part.
Where he farms is really close to the Missouri River
Okay.
because it's North America's longest river and it goes
There's
through
a lot
of
that's
parts
close
of
to
the
it.
state.
Yeah.
So you see those kind of breaks like landscapes,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
We have been working on trying to buy one of his pieces for years, and it is stunning, and it is just long.
Ooh. Yeah.
The problem is we have no place in our home to put it
Oh.
because we have this elk that adorns one of our walls. So the discussion is every year we stand there and we stare at it. And I'm sure Craig just by this
It's like,
time,
who are these people?
he'll come over. He's like, hey. And I'm like, don't waste your time with us yet.
We're just admiring again.
We're just going to stand here and build mass around your booth so other people show up
Yeah.
because we're still just in love with this piece, trying to figure out where to put it in our home, which means we have to get rid of Smith, which is our taxidermied head-mounted elk.
Okay.
And it's just the whole deal that we're
Yeah.
not ready to tackle yet. So we just visit that piece of artwork and hope one day it becomes
It
ours.
can be on a wall somewhere.
Yeah.
There's we have a big wall that comes up from a staircase inside our front door, so it's just a big blank wall. It's hard to find something that would
Oh, yeah.
hang there. Jason wants like a bear rug on the wall. I'm hoping we
I
can
have
find
one.
something. Don't tell him that place. But there's it's a massive wall. So anything that we're not at that point where we can afford a massive
Piece of
piece
art.
for that wall. But there's so many pretty. I don't remember the artist's name, but it was out there at the Out West show, and it's beautiful. Like it's on like copper, and then
Oh.
it's painting on there or just the texture. And I love copper. I love the coloring. I just imagine that on the wall in there. It's so gorgeous. But again, it's not something I will be like you and standing there and admiring
Yeah.
for many years.
There's
But
just
it's so beautiful.
so much and so many great fun artists to meet. I am hopeful. This year I've followed John Isaiah Pepion,
Yes.
and he's at the Out West show the last couple of years.
And he is one of the newest Arts
Yeah.
Fest mural creators. You can see his work in the alley behind the 500 block of First Avenue North.
Look at you knowing stuff. He's done ledger art for years. This year-ish, he's expanded what he puts his art on. So he's got tote bags and pillows
Oh,
and
cool.
socks and stuff that you can buy from his website. Like I said, I've been following him
Yeah.
for years, and I just love his work. Not bought anything yet, but I'm really hoping he has some of that merchandise
Yeah.
available this year just to show that variety.
It's usable art. That's probably not the right word. Wearable?
I think it
toteable.
sounds right.
Yeah. Can't think of a better word.
There is another artist in our town that does wooden fish, and his work has been photographed and put on like buffs, You can buy that at North 40, which is always fun.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of opportunity to look at a variety of art, clothing, furniture, journals, hats. I've seen so much. Julie Korb,
Yes.
who does notes in her artwork.
Uh-huh. Like
I love-
musical notes?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm a sucker for aspen trees. And
yes.
she does a lot of aspen trees, and then there's like musical notes in her artwork.
Oh, cool.
I love it.
What a beautiful concept.
Yes. So, I mean, there's just so much to see. There's new artists every year. There's artists that are expanding their techniques. And the things we've seen have been weird. I shouldn't say weird. Things you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
There's an artist that does gunpowder. Like she'll... I can't imagine what this process is like, but I want to like witness it from a distance. Like she lays out gunpowder, lights it on fire, and then whatever is left is what she makes like abstract art with.
That is so cool.
There's a woman who does wine painting. She does like stains of various wines on art, watercolor, of course, bronzes you mentioned. Sculptures just in general.
Yeah.
One year, and I'm still mad I didn't take a picture of this, but there was a artist at the Footprints on the Trail show that had old like 57 Chevy headlights with fish painted on the inside of the lens. So it looked like a little weird fishbowl.
That's cool.
So neat.
Yeah.
So you're going to find a lot of that kind of variety.
I've seen
beyond
barbed wire made into varying things.
There was a lady one time that would take like old clothing and pictures of your loved one and create like a mosaic.
Oh.
So it was like it was a canvas piece of art, but it had all this different mixed media on it, which I thought was neat.
Interesting.
There's an artist that does sculpture out of antlers.
Oh, cool.
So you can get like a big antler, but then it's got like a pack scene engraved into it.
Wow.
All things I can't do.
Yeah, no, I can't even pretend.
Wheat weaving, which has been one of my favorites since I was a kid.
Yeah.
There was a lady in
Eastern Montana. That makes sense.
There was a lady in our community that would do wheat weavings all the time. And like she'd do classes and how to do it. But the intricacy way beyond what this lady taught us is on display. A couple of years ago I saw that and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like ribbons, and the way she would ribbon a shaft of wheat.
Yeah. See, I feel like I would just break. It would just brittle. I would break it.
Yeah, she dyed it, and it's beautiful work. I was amazed because I'm looking at it, and part of it I'm like, oh, that's wheat weaving, but what is this other stuff?
Yeah.
And I was just standing there staring, and another guy was in the booth with me, and he asked, he's like, what is this? She's like, oh, it's all wheat. Every part of it is wheat. I'm like, no
way. Who knew you could transform wheat that much? Yeah.
And I just look. You know, you want to call the artist a liar, but you're like,
yeah, right.
Gut instinct is probably not to go, no.
To the artist
you're
right
a
there.
Liar.
Prove it.
I can't do anything artistic, but this is certainly not wheat.
This is not possible. My little brain can't wrap around that.
So there's just, the aspect ratios are another thing that always get to me. So like you'll have these large prints of like just an owl's eye.
Oh yeah,
those kind of neat
it's
things.
Intimidating.
Yeah. I get
That's
a little
what
excited.
I should put on the wall. It's just a huge owl's eye. Walk in the front door, bam.
So, that's what I know about Western Art Week.
Have we covered everything? Okay, it starts Wednesday.
It does start Wednesday. What does it start with? It starts on Wednesday with the Arvon Art Show at 10 a.m. And then 7 p.m. is the Footprints on the Trail preview.
Okay.
So you got two kind of things. Wednesday's a lighter day. I'd say make your trip in on Wednesday.
Yeah.
hit Hotel Arvon, hit Footprints on the Trail, opening reception.
Kind of dip your toe into it.
Yep.
It's not going to be as
Ease in.
busy, so you can really look around.
The big thing to know, we have everything listed at westernartweek.com. So you can have the listings by show. You'll see all the shows there. Click on the show. It'll tell you what's happening at that show. But then we also have a button that says events by day. So you click on that, and then you can look at what's happening each day.
Yeah. And a lot of these are open from, say, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. or
8,
something.
6.
Yeah.
The big thing to know is not every show is open every day.
Okay.
So some
don't
shows
assume.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't all close at the same time. So if you want to do like March in Montana Dealer Show at 7 o'clock at night, you're going to miss it because they close at 6.
Okay. So you need to plan your day out ahead of time. Okay.
Figure out what show ends the latest. That's where I would kind of end
your night. Yep.
Figure out what events you want to attend and make sure you're at those events because they'll go by quickly. And then figure out what shows you can do as they open so that you aren't trying to do them all on like Saturday
evening. Yeah.
And take in some of the live music, take in the food. And it's an experience that if you've not had, you need to have. You don't have to be an art lover. You don't have to be anyone who even understands art. You
be like me. Ask dumb questions.
You just have to be a person that can look at something and go, oh, I
wow.
like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
It's not really wheat.
Or ask the young girl, why are you painting World War II stuff? She's like, oh, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And then she'll tell you. Like, you just have to ask. You just have to be of interest. And then you'll fall in love with these people. And then all of a sudden, you'll be creating your own Hartman Art Fund savings account so that you can buy something.
Is that what yours is called?
Yeah. They're free to open. So you just open as many savings accounts as you need and start putting money in there so you can buy your art.
Perfect.
That's my plan.
Got a plan. Yeah.
So each day has different things happening. Each show opens at different times. They close at different times. Sunday, not all the shows are open on Sunday.
Yes, that's something to note. You don't want to wait for everything till Sunday.
Friday and Saturday are kind of your big heavy days for activities. Auctions for March in Montana happen earlier in the day. Auctions for Out West later in the day. Same with the Charlie's March Roundup. That stuff happens later in the day. So make sure you're looking at the times.
Yes.
Because Art in Action on Friday happens at 10 for that.
Yes, it does.
You're going to
I
be
will
there.
be there. I remember looking that up and saying, oh, it's a morning thing. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
I'll plan my day around that. Yeah.
You may be thinking, oh, I have children. I can't do this. You'd
That's
be wrong.
Yeah.
Now, if your kids are unruly,
And like to grab and pull things down off the wall.
then no, don't take them. Or teach them, don't
Right.
touch.
Right.
Or strap them to a chair while you stroll.
Backpack.
Do whatever you want. But kids are allowed.
Absolutely.
They absolutely enjoy looking at the art as well. Just make sure that they're respectful of the art that is there, because some of it is extremely expensive.
Yes.
Even if it isn't extremely expensive, the artists put a lot of time and effort into that artwork. So be cognizant of that. Also know some of these shows serve adult beverages.
Yes.
And you are
they're
able
available.
to walk around the entire show with an adult beverage in your hand.
I am a grown woman, but I still get, and I'm not like drinking in excess by any means, but I'm walking around holding a drink, and I'm very aware that I'm holding a drink because I'm like, I cannot spill. Yeah.
So be careful not to dump your beer on an original piece of artwork.
Or a dark red wine.
Yeah. These are bad calls. Maybe stay in a contained area if you're
drinking.
like us. If you're a little droopsy dropsy.
Watch your bags. Just know your surroundings.
And give the art some room.
Yeah.
You don't need to be that up close and personal to it.
No.
Unless you're looking for a cross.
But then
Keep your hands
yeah.
to yourself. You don't need to maybe borrow a pair of glasses.
My husband always makes fun of me because he always says she can't not touch. Because when I walk through a store, I'm like, ooh, pillow, soft, ooh, blanket. Oh, what does this feel like? And so he's always like, she can't not touch. But I have to rant. I can't touch it, this one. And again, grown woman.
Yeah.
But I know
it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. And my husband will often be like, oh, no, you can't go in that room.
There's too many temptations.
I get that. And so I'll stand like in the hallway
the door
and look in. I'm like, oh, that is pretty stuff. And they're like, you can come closer.
You're
like, no, I cannot.
For your sake, it's better if I'm out here.
I can't afford to buy whatever I'm going to break in there.
What I want to
just gonna
touch.
stand out here.
Yeah.
So Western Art Week, 50 plus years strong, founded by Norma Ashby Smith. I assume
And now
that's correct.
Foundation of our community.
It is just a cornerstone. We become the Western art capital of the world. And we, I am told, we are the first auction of the year, the massive
Kicks off everything.
Western art or art experience in the world.
Yeah.
March
Place to
in
be.
Montana.
And people come from all over the world to come and be here and see this.
They do.
So be one of them.
We don't know how many, and we don't know the economic impact. So if you're trying to do a media release, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with that.
We don't have those things. But just believe us, it's true.
It's a big deal. And it is due time that you show up and experience it, because our words, our descriptions, and our videos and our photos,
they can't do it justice.
Do not do it justice. Yeah. There's just nothing about it that can be captured succinctly. You experience it, you'll get giddy like us, and you'll just be going, oh, it's so amazing. And then you'll book your rooms for the next year, because you will want to do this year after year, because guess what? You're not going to get through everything the first year.
No. And
you're going to try
something different about it every year.
You're going to try to get through everything. You're not going to. I went years before I ever made it to some shows.
Yep, me too. Like, because you get sucked in a very good way into one show for hours.
And then you spent 5 hours staring at this one print or this one painting or whatever it is. And you're like, how long have I been here? And they're like, are you going to buy this? Or are we just going to start charging you rent?
Rent for standing here.
Like, you charge me rent. Like, obviously I'm not leaving.
Use that as a down payment towards
like,
this.
I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I can't leave this thing.
Stuck in this spot. Yeah.
So it is definitely an experience for all people. Certainly if you're an art collector, this is the place to be, but really our podcast is not designed for people like that.
This is,
This is more for like your average everyday folk, getting to understand what Art Week is like, and just make it a trip. I know you're sitting at home thinking, why on earth would I spend a week in Great Falls for an art thing? Believe me, I don't care who you are. You're going to love it.
And there's plenty to do in the mornings or before the shows open around here. There's other art museums or galleries that are not necessarily part of Western Art Week, but are here beyond that you can visit and explore.
And really, the art of shopping and eating.
Yeah. Go get a fancy dessert in the name of art.
There you go. All over the town. So, folks, if you need help, you want more information, I have it.
She does. She spent a lot of work, a lot of phone calls, a lot of hours spent.
And things will change.
Yeah.
And we'll do our best to explain why they've changed. But we're dealing with artists, and that's the way it works.
And you're just the trying to disperse and collect the information. You're not having anything to do with the actual planning of these events.
We get a lot of calls of people who want to exhibit during Western Art Week. Well, I want to be a part of Western Art Week.
Great. Glad to hear it.
There are 17 shows you can be a part of, and I don't do any of that.
I'm not part of any of them. Yeah.
You want to create your own show, you can talk to me after you've created it. But a lot of that is meeting with the show organizer, figuring out what their process is for admitting new artists, all that kind of thing.
Because a lot of them are a juried selection as well. Like, for example, I know the Out West show only has a certain number of artists they accept every year.
And you don't just get to show up with your arts and crafts and set up a booth.
There's a certain level. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some places are like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have those opportunities. So I'll be happy to visit with you about the types of shows that are here if you've never been here and help make some connections to show organizers. But you can call us. We don't book,
we don't book
the talent
for that. No, we're not. We'll just tell you
everything else I can help you with. Like where the shows are, when things happen, what kind of art is going to be there, what gets me excited. Obviously, I could talk to you for days about the art that I like.
Stories about Western Art Week.
The types of artists I've met, the kind of art I've seen, the things I want to buy. The list is long.
And you can hear us talk more about some of that experience. We had Ron Ukrainitz, one of a beloved artist here in Great Falls, and him and his wife set up at the Out West show, so you can go back and listen. That one's titled Bugs Add Texture, and if you listen, you'll learn a reason for that. Yeah, we've
had Chuck Fulcher on the show. He is also at the Great Western show. His artwork
is one at the Expo Park. It's one of those shows.
We've had him on the show. Brenda Wolf, local artist. She was on the show. She's going to be at Out West. Nope, that is a lie. She's going to be at Montana Expo Park.
Okay. Yeah.
And she paints with her fingers. And honestly, if you've not listened to that episode,
dream into profession.
I don't get goosebumps often, but my conversation I had with Brenda was amazing, and the way she approaches her artwork and her subject matter, I love her. I love her art. I love everything about her. She paints with her fingers.
That's so cool.
She's a finger painter. Who would have thought? Western Art Week, finger painter.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just amazing. And I love her work and I love her stories. I love her. Listen to that episode as well. And we feature a lot of our local artists. Some of them aren't necessarily at Western Art Week, but some of them are. So get your butt in gear, March 15th through the 19th. Book your rooms now. And if you need any information at all, westernartweek.com, or you can give us a call, 406-761-4436. The only podcast with a phone number, I assume. I make that up.
I need to memorize that one.
Anything else you want to share?
Oh, I think
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we can be done talking about Western Art Week for now. So, folks, until we see your bright, shining, happy, beautiful, healthy, wonderful face here in our amazing community of Great Falls, Montana, we hope you're creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you are. See you soon.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town. Damn, that felt good.